This video is brought to you by Shank Gym. Hey everybody, Mac and Damer here for OCR Kings, and Tom is checking in with another fabulous sit rep, this time for the San Jose Ultrafecta weekend, which was at Woodward Reservoir Regional Park in Oakdale, California. It's got a lot to say, Damer. My goodness. All good
Yes.
stuff. Amazing
Yeah.
stuff, as a matter of fact.
The man has the gift of gab.
He really does. He's got the research, the knowledge, and he's
Yeah,
just putting in the miles
that's right.
like a maniac. He's actually, we're skipping ahead here, but he has a full disclosure statement. He has to come clean. He initially attempted to run the Ultrafecta weekend, but due to some last minute scheduling changes, he only opted for the Trifecta
Yeah, that's
weekend. Can
right.
you believe it? Only a
Yeah.
Trifecta. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
He's still, he's very humble, but he is a
So,
machine. So
yep.
of the race and as an overview, Woodward Reserve, I guess, is a fast course characterized by its heat, exposure to the elements, and beauty. Neat. All race distances weave around a large reservoir that supplies water to the surrounding area. And last year, I guess Spartan did not receive permission to use any part of the reservoir, but oh my goodness, this year,
Yeah.
the Ultra, Beast, and Super races incorporated the water into several obstacles, offering a refreshing break from the sunny weekend. I wonder if they did get permission or they just said, screw it,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
went for it. Either
yeah,
way, that's pretty cool.
that's right. That's right. So logistics, the race is not located near San Jose. It's actually equidistant between Sacramento and San Jose. So last year, Tom flew into Sacramento and drove about 90 minutes south to Oakdale, the closest town to the race venue, and followed the same plan this year. So if you're thinking about this as a destination, and if you're looking for a flat, fast course, it could be on your list to do, especially being an Ultrafecta weekend.
Yeah.
So Tom seems to have the plan down, and Sacramento Airport, and take a drive.
Absolutely. He's also got the knowledge of the the reservoir, which, believe it or not, Damer, is an artificial lake located north of Oakdale.
What?
Wow, no kidding. It was constructed in 1916 by the South San Joaquin Irrigation District. Its main function was to support irrigation. Fantastic. The lake was created by an earthen dam that retains water from a river whose name I cannot pronounce and other sources. That's why you have to read this whole unabridged sit rep on
That's right.
shankgym.com. So this area, did you know, Damer, also is part of the eastern San Joaquin Valley and is
Mm,
distinguished by its unique geological characteristics. It wouldn't be a Tom sit rep
that's
without a
right.
discussion of geology, which we absolutely love. So the Beast, Ultra, and Super courses wound around this reservoir, which is pretty cool. I like that. Tom goes on to talk about the Sierra Nevadas and a whole bunch of other things that tongue twisters that I won't
Oh, and there's a
betray his
reference in there.
efforts by yeah by stumbling over these. So we will let you read the full thing. Well, the link in the description below. So he goes on down here about the course, Damer. Did anything jump out to you about the course?
Yeah, so I mean, he mentioned it last year's. So at last year's courses were characterized by an abundance of ground squirrel holes scattered across the rolling fields, presenting a unique yet troublesome challenge. This year, however, the course was slightly rerouted in an attempt to address this pesky rodent problem.
I'm thinking, I'm sure you're picturing it too, like Bill Murray, like
Yeah, it's like
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack. Just blow them all up. The first 4 miles of the Beast Ultra and Super were primarily run on paths winding through tall grass, providing a more stable footing and a less hazardous experience before reaching the reservoir area.
Amazing. He also writes that there was not a cloud in the sky all weekend. There was a sunburn alert.
Yeah,
He mentions,
definitely.
taking care of your skin, and we have, multiple times. You got to wear that sunblock. And it seems like this is one of those particular times where it was most true. So the middle and ending section, though, Tom continues, of the Beast and Ultra courses were particularly scenic as it wound around the reservoir where pelicans and waterfowl soared overhead. The last 4 miles of both the Beast and Ultra courses brought everybody back into the rolling hills. The hills were not significant, with only minor elevation changes that were manageable for most participants. Sounds great.
Yep.
You know, he's talking about it's a fair and fast course. So if you're looking to do an ultra, Tom is recommending this particular locale as one to definitely check out, especially if it's your first.
All right. So next section, he gets into a little obstacle breakdown. So, in an effort to improve the obstacle analysis, this review will mention changes Tom has seen in the obstacles relative to other races this season.
Cool. Very
So,
cool.
so there were two barbed wire crawls. The first was near the water, offering a chance for a water barbed wire crawl, which was his personal favorite. The
Nice.
second was a long crawl up and down an incline over grass. Not hard, but a little time consuming. This crawl was similar in distance to Atlanta and occasionally reminded Tom of Cincinnati.
You know, a friend of ours also checked in, Alex Campos. Big shout to him. He sent in an email and some pictures. And here he
Very cool.
mentions that the course director wanted to make a signature obstacle, so he made the sandbag carry half a mile on Sunday. They said people were dropping
No.
sandbags on the course. Shame! Shame!
Yeah, yeah. I've certainly seen a few like
Uh,
wary bucket.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, bodies on the ground all
yeah,
over the
that's
place.
right.
Yeah. He also, Alex also notes that the Ultra Loop had balance beams too. We have not seen balance beams in a minute. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
that's cool. Bring the old stuff back, incorporate. Yeah, so just
Love
nice
it.
to see something different.
I love
They
it.
they they happen to hide it in the Ultra Loop, but I mean that's just good things to come.
Right on. He also ran into Tom too, by the way. More on that in a little bit. And you and I had mentioned the Z wall, Damer. What was going on over there and different?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? It was like when the Z-Wall changed to the cutout center, I never really liked it and you and I were just not fans. So this particular section or this Z-Wall here actually had no cutout, so it was solid,
It's like the old
which meant
school one. Yeah.
yeah, it was like a little less chance of cheating. Had to use the hand grips, foot grips.
Yeah.
Never understood why they had cut it out in the first place. That's a quote from Tom, and we absolutely were always asking the same thing.
Absolutely.
And maybe there's a reason. Smarter people than Tom or us will probably say it was configured differently with some angles this way or that, whatever. But
Well,
don't care. Was never a fan of that center cutout. So just
yeah.
a little tweak to Z wall, and you kind of make it give it a little refresh.
It's retro, I guess, there.
Yeah,
Less of a
that's right.
chance of cheating, like you said, and less of a chance of a sword fight. That's why we never did that obstacle at the same time.
That's right. Don't cross the
You
streams.
know? Exactly. So it was interesting. He was talking about all the water from the reservoir, but there was no rolling mud or dunk wall. So, you know, he
Yes.
spoke with Spartan staff members, and they mentioned that the venue was difficult to work with and inflexible regarding how the property could be used. But if you think about it, if it's a preserve or a, a
Yeah, it's a
park,
preserve. It's a
they don't want you
park.
digging, and that
Yeah.
makes sense. There was a benefit to it. The rope climb at the end, since it was not a muddy course, there was no mud for the rope. It made it a little
Yes.
bit easier.
Bone dry.
Well, it's a little better there on the rope climb. And he mentions this. I wonder,
That's
if
right.
anybody has the audacity. He said somebody needs to bring a laser like tape measure to
That-
the races.
That's right.
Hmm. He swears that the spear throw is shorter. Damer,
Oh, yeah.
do
Well,
you agree?
I know someone who carried a laser to measure.
Damer, you had mentioned that you felt that the spear throw was definitely shorter.
Yeah,
in
and I was
recent
like,
races.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if they go out and actually like measure, or did they just kind of find a spot and just set it up and just kind of do the best they can, which is probably more of the way it works.
Hmm.
But I definitely remember our last venue, definitely the throw just seemed a lot closer than normal. So
Yeah. Yeah. I have to agree. Uh, but you know what? Tom says, regardless of the distance, burpees
continue
were
to be the
plentiful.
penalty. Yeah,
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 they
yeah.
were plentiful. So he also mentions, I love Tom. He goes, at the risk of starting a food fight with OCR King's subscribers, he thought the obstacles were placed evenly. This venue has easy access for their trucks, and he thinks that Spartan took advantage of it.
I like that.
But get those knives sharpened, boys and girls, because New
That's right.
Jersey
New
is next
Jersey's coming.
with notorious front and back loading. Well, that's not going
Yes.
to start a fight because that is proven in fact. So you did a little research on this portion, Damer, about cramps and the cramps. So writes
Yeah. So,
Tom.
so Tom definitely goes into a whole um, background on cramping.
Hmm.
And of course, while he's thinking of cramps, his mind obviously goes to the old 1970s band called The Cramps that was formed in Sacramento, California in 1976. And we definitely had to go to YouTube and fire up a couple songs just to check it out.
Great
But
tie-in though with the location and the origin of the band
yeah,
and cramps on the course. It's fantastic. Way to go, Tom.
that's right. But he definitely has a lot of information about leg cramps and nutrition and training harder and
and
he
and
he gets into
hydration.
yeah
You know,
he gets into a lot of that. So definitely worth checking out.
I was taking his advice right there. It's yeah, apple cider vinegar or
Yeah.
whatever, whatever those freaks drink.
Yeah, that is.
No, that's right. So, of the festival area, Tom writes that there were several food trucks, including a bacon themed restaurant that served an outstanding bacon cheeseburger that he saw a lot of
Yeah.
people eating. I would have been one of those people. That
Yeah.
sounds awesome. All right.
Yep.
The Spartan Plus, I guess now called the members tent,
It was
was packed
packed.
at this race.
Yeah.
Nice. This tent is now available to anyone with a yearly pass, as well as the unbreakable pass holders. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Cool.
And oh, here he writes about respect and recognition. Our own Alex Campos, OCR King's subscriber, achieved the Ultrafecta. Hats off to him.
Yeah, very cool,
That's
Alex.
badass.
Well
You're not,
done.
you're not sure what an Ultrafecta is? We'll provide a link to Tom's article. He talks
Yes.
about Ultrafectas and
Yeah.
great locations to achieve that. Basically, you're doing all the flavors, small, medium, and extra large
Yeah.
in one weekend. That's incredible for race distances. Excuse me. So he writes that this is a remarkable accomplishment, which is true. That deserves recognition. Also true. He not
Yep.
only completed the races, but also won a coveted or rivaled. He's not Thomas. He gets confused about the two. All right, I think
Yep.
coveted
That's right.
Shanks Gym T-shirt. Right on. So if you don't know Alex, he is a fantastic guy, always laughing and spreading positivity before and after races. His enthusiasm is infectious, and it was a pleasure to see him kicking ass this past weekend. Great job on the Ultra, bro. Right on.
Excellent. Well,
Fantastic.
yep. Well done, Alex.
So what does Tom here right here about the
Yes.
summary?
In summary, so he understands scheduling can be challenging for many racers throughout a long season. However, there might be openings in your schedule, or perhaps you want to explore another part of the country. Maybe not this year, but perhaps next year. Tom really enjoys this venue. It's located in a part of the country that is distinctly non-touristy. It's a farming community within an area historically known as the breadbasket of the United States, and the reservoir was constructed to supply water to those farming industry. So
Nice.
Tom had a fantastic time at this race and recommends to anyone considering it, and if they're planning on participating in an ultra Ultrafecta, a first-time trifecta weekend. It may be flat, but remember, there are no easy courses, only people who take it easy.
Nice.
All right, well done,
Yeah.
Toms.
Makes me want to go here for an ultra. It's flat,
Yes,
it's easy.
yep,
Damer, I'll book it. What do you think?
sorry.
We'll talk.
I may be busy that weekend.
So
Now,
thank you to Tom for sending us this information and Alex for checking in. Definitely check out the full and unabridged version on
yes,
Tom's blog,
we skipped
shanksgym.com.
we skipped a lot, so check it out.
Yeah, you need to read the full thing. We'll provide links in the description below. If you haven't done so already, also please like and subscribe, leave a comment, share the video. It helps to grow the channel and keeps these conversations going. You know what? And we hope to see you out there on the course. But
Yes.
remember, until that time, as always, train hard.
Have fun.